Hello everyone, this is Ralph from Ralph's Trucking. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button over there. Hit that thumbs up if you would, please. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Ralph's Trucking. This video here, story time about my mama. I'll be right back. Hello everyone, this is a story time about my mom. I hope you all enjoy. My dad's from Delaware, joined the Air Force. After boot camp and training, he was stationed in around San Francisco where he met my mom. They got married, had 2 boys. Raymond is the oldest. Timothy was the second oldest. When Timothy was, they're like 18 months apart. When Timothy was in his child seat back in the 60s, he slung back, the seat fell back, he cracked his head. That's what my dad thinks caused his epilepsy. Well, after Dad got out of service, they hopped in the car, put all their stuff in the car, 2 kids, pulled a little cheap trailer, and drove it to Delaware. And Dad didn't want to stay in aviation, but he toured an oil refinery around Wilmington, Delaware. He decided, I'll go back in aviation. He started back in, I think he said 66 at $2.15 as an A&P mechanic. Sister was born in 67. We still lived up there in Wilmington area. I was born in 72. The youngest was supposed to be Jennifer. They couldn't predict, I guess, a male or female that good back in the 70s. They didn't have a name picked out for me, so that's why I'm Ralph Jr. My family calls me Ralphie. I've mentioned that before. When I was probably 5 or 6, they bought a 10-acre farm around Canterbury, Delaware, which is below Dover. I remember us having a quarter horse, a pony, 2 cows, I think jerseys. Remember Dad, my brother and all milking the cows. That's why we had fresh cows. We had, garden. Mom would always can. She would can. She would milk animals. One time we were going to a store. We had a green Plymouth station wagon with white green exterior. I remember falling out of the back of that car when she was trying to cross the US 13 as like a 5 or 6 year old, whining and crying. Mom didn't know to stop or go or what, so Dad told her to keep on going. I would run across the road following them. That's what I did. Crying and all this as a 5, 6 year old little boy falling out of the back of the car. Who would have thought the back of the station wagon would just drop down when she hit the gas pedal? But a couple years later, Dad decided to buy a bigger farm. We went down to Laurel, Delaware. We had goats, the 2 geese, horse, pony, and about 40 or 50 head of pigs. We used to kill 2 a year. Dad would bring down a co-worker and they would split share a pig, and of course paid Dad whatever. Back then I didn't know. So we would process 2 pigs a year. Had fun. Mom had about a half-acre garden. We had about a quarter-acre strawberries where we used to sell the strawberries at the end of the cross from the American Legion. Big strawberries too. Dad planted a bunch of trees for fruit trees, which didn't keep the farm long enough to get much fruit. But Dad would work in Atlantic, be a mechanic during the week, come home Friday night, leave back out Sunday evening. He would do that all the time unless he was on vacation. Mom would work different jobs. I remember working in a chicken processing plant. Then she got her CNA, and then she was working at a couple different doctor clinics. nursing homes. Dad and Mom broke up about 82. My brother Timothy moved up to with my dad, because my mom had a temper. Mom always had a temper. 5'2", short as heck, and had a temper. So my brother moved up to Wilmington, stayed with my grandparents while he worked different odds and ends jobs. He couldn't get a driver's license because he could not go any length of time without having a grand mal seizure. I still to this day remember him having his seizures. Well, November 17th, 1983, on my sister's 16th birthday, they found him deceased in the bed. He had a seizure. Always after his seizure, he went, well, he did that in his pillow and he suffocated. So, up to Delaware, up to Wilmington I went. You know, we went to the funeral. My grandfather died in January that year. My brother died in November of 83. So 83 is not a good year. Parents are getting divorced. There I lost my grandfather, my pop-up. And then later that year, lost my brother, Timothy. Every time I'm around Wilmington, Delaware, and if I was going to my dad's or whatever, I would stop and put flowers on his grave. Here I was, 83, I was 11 years old, just turned 11 when he died. I didn't want to go in and see him. It was an open casket, but I still remember to this day seeing his curly hair, black hair in that casket. But Mom kept on working. Parents, we ended up losing the farm. We had a small, me and my sister rented out, she rented that small house where we lived until she fell in love. Well, I had 2 kids before my sister had 2 kids. Before we moved to North Carolina, she fell in love with a guy, and she decided Mom's like, okay, let's all move to North Carolina. So we moved to Lexington, North Carolina, where his family lives. So Mom got her CNA in North Carolina, and she started working nursing homes. My sister had 2 kids at the time. She would work the night shift, 11 to 7, come home and babysit those kids. And eventually they started going to school, so she had actual time to sleep. Then my sister had her 3rd child, 3rd little girl. And there was Mom, taking care of a kid, working at night. Not worried about getting their medicines, because she was making sure food was on the table for my sister's kids, her and my sister. I was out of the picture. And that kept on and kept on. Mom would sleep on the couch, and the little girl, the youngest, Alyssa, would sleep behind her knees and called it her doghouse. Well, Mom kept on working. Girls finally was able to go to school. There was Mom still not doing her medical stuff she was needed. She had heart issues, diabetes, and there she was, nickel and diming her medicines. She would work night shift, come home, watch kids. Or she would come home, like one time she made my sister's wedding dress. After working, watching the kids, she made my sister's wedding dress. She used to can all summer long when we lived on the farm. She, you name it, she was the best cook. She never would use measuring cups. She would never use teaspoons or nothing. She just poured it in her hand. Did she have any recipes written down? No. She would come up with meals like that with, different things. She was the best cook. Well, she went to go get a heart cath, where they shoved a sensor up your leg. And there she would, because they don't knock you out. There she was laying down, thing going to her heart. And they're like, you had 3 heart attacks. She didn't know it. She worked through 3 heart attacks. That's how mean and strong that lady was. Worked through 3 heart attacks. Well, once me and my sister heard that, we forced her to quit and go on disability. But Mom, being stubborn as she was, she would do a little bit of vacation time because she had a bunch of little vacation time. She would stretch it out because it takes 6 months to get your first disability check. She would stretch it out, not realizing by doing that, all I did was postpone her getting her check. And we also discovered she had a backwards heart. Her heart was actually backwards, and half her heart was dead. So on disability, she was able to get some medicines real cheap, but still she wasn't doing her drug, stuff like she was supposed to. Prescriptions were $3 a piece, but she was worried about the kids. She would not buy some of her medicines. I had to help get waivers for her to get more medicines because she was on probably 14 to 20 different prescriptions. We got a waiver, so everything was $6 every 6 months, every $3. And near the end, she was throwing blood clots down her leg, and they were, surgery to get the blood clots. And that last one was the one they decided, because half her heart was dead, they decided to go through and break that blood clot up. When they did, give her a stroke. The one thing she was worried about was having a stroke. She's told us 2 different things, me and my sister, not to let her go to a nursing home and do not bury her, cremate her. That was 2 things she told us. She told us if we didn't do it, she would haunt her ass. So she had the surgery. I would drive from where I lived in Morgan with my ex-wife to the Winston-Salem to Baptist Hospital where she had her surgeries. The day she had her stroke, I have a sick feeling of something happening. I do that for a lot of my loved ones. Oh no, something's happening. Told that to my ex-wife, and she's like, go to work. Don't worry about it. Your mom will be okay. So I went to work. A couple hours later, I got the phone call. Go to the hospital. So there I was, below Charlotte, raced up to Winston-Salem through the construction. They couldn't do an MRI because she had a pacemaker. They had to wait a couple days for a CAT scan to do it. And all the sensors on her head. And they come back and told us she was brain dead. So me and my sister, decided, yep, it's time to pull the plug. And I forced my sister to get her girls to the hospital to say get their final goodbyes to their Mima. I stayed in a different room because they said as soon as they pulled that plug, she would die. Now they pulled that plug about 12:30 in the afternoon, April 11th, 2003. And then they took us out of the intensive care unit and put us in a regular room so she can die in peace. We kept on, they kept on checking on her. 8 o'clock at night, still alive. Even though they said, they were like, if she's still alive in the morning, she's going to the nursing home. Me and my sister told my mom, if you want to die, you kind of need to hurry up. You don't want to go to a nursing home. Once my youngest niece left that hospital about 10 o'clock that night, her friend was taking the girls home. Mom passed. April 11th, 2003. What they show on TV for a peaceful death was not hers. And when she was passing, I told her to tell my brother, Timothy, I missed him. And all that good jazz. So there she was, We and my sister went to the funeral home the next day. And they asked us, do we want to see her mother? We're like, no. My sister talked to the donation people. They called up and asked if we wanted to donate any parts of her body. She had diabetes, type 1. They won't, you know, so my sister had to, they had to ask everything what mom had, what surgery she had, what drugs she was on. My sister's like, read that chart. Now, oh, we can't, HIPAA. My sister's like, she's dead, she don't care, read the chart. But nope, my sister spent 3 hours plus on with the donation people. Mom was very fit, fair-skinned, going on the bald side. We let them take her eyeballs. We let them take the skin off her back because she was very fair-skinned. She would be, you know, that was used for people who was burned. And then we let her take the heart for medical research. They were drooling to have that heart. There's only a few people with her type of heart in the world. So we let them take her heart, the skin off her back, and her eyeballs. And after that, we had her cremated, which I ended up paying for. But my mom, she was a mean old woman, 5'2", like I said. Could cook, could sew, could do whatever all the time. I was about 13 years old living in that rental house. I was all uppy with my mom, and she told me, yeah, I better cool down or she's going to cool me down. I told her, there's no way, you're too short. I was probably 5'8" at the time, you know, 12, 13 years old. Next thing I know, clothes and all, my ass is in the shower. That was how strong my mom was. Throw me yelling and kicking and screaming into the shower. I remember one time my sister come home drunk, and she was uppity with my sister. And splish splash, she was taking a bath with clothes and all too. That's how mean my mom was. She was 5'2" and mean. But I still miss my mom. I miss her cooking. I miss talking to her. Moral of the story is, make sure you talk to your parents. Make sure you, my dad is 76 years old right now, and I talk to him a couple times a week. Every chance I get, I go see him. So make sure you see your parents, because you never know when they won't be around anymore. You all have a great day. I'm glad you, hopefully you all enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please leave comments below. And make sure you tell your parents you love them. You all have a great day. Story time with my mom. Which she could be mean, she could be hateful, but she's still your mom. Sad thing, I don't even have a photo of my mama. My sister kept all that. Don't have a photo at all. But you all have a great day. Story time with my mom.